the idea is to stream out the information to as many people as possible. Tomorrow we're going to have this same presentation in Espanol for anybody that is interested. You can share the word. And yeah, it's all about sharing the resources. So let me go ahead and start the stream here. So we are now, give me 1 second, guys. Let me just connect the APIs to the thing. And we're doing this. And one more thing. Bam. So perfect. So let me go ahead and share my screen. So we're going to kick things off with a slide deck of the guidelines that we've received from the state of California. But at any time, please interject, ask any questions, and be able to give us your feedback. And then it's a Q&A session, so we want everybody to engage and to learn. But let's get it started here. So California Guide to Reopening Your Business, Stage 2. So we grabbed these guidelines from, is it, Alejandro, is it Cal OSHA who issued them, the items, or the state of California? Do you know?
So it was the state of California. So what it is the guidelines that, what we were using based on what the city of Salinas is taking a look at for reopening businesses. And so the guidelines are coming from the CDPH and Cal OSHA from the state of California. And those are basically the guidelines that are going to be followed starting with retail. And then the announcement that was made today by the governor at his press conference is that we will be doing, there's going to be some openings as well for restaurants, some dining as well. So they're, on a daily basis, things are changing, but these are the guidelines that they'll be using and similar guidelines that are coming from both CDPH and Cal OSHA.
Got it. Thank you. So today's agenda, we'll be going over worksite specific plans to put in place, topics for employee training, individual control measures and screening, cleaning and disinfecting protocols, physical distancing guidelines, and these are all around the retail business model, so just be aware of that. So worksite specific plan, establish a written worksite-specific COVID-19 prevention plan. That's key. We actually have a checklist that we'll go ahead and share with everybody here at the end. Perform a comprehensive risk assessment of all work areas in your retail business. Also, very important, designate a person to be accountable to implement this plan. Somebody that to be accountable to follow up with. If you're the owner, it could be you, or if not, one of your key employees. So somebody responsible to make sure all these things we're going to go over right now are actually being done, because if nobody's held accountable, it sounds good, but it's not going to get done. All right. Train and communicate with employees on the plan or workers there at your site. Regularly evaluate the workplace for compliance with the plan to make sure it's actually being executed. Also be aware of all the Monterey County Health Department information and hospital COVID-19 hotlines. I noticed there was a few in the Department of Health Department's website for Natividad Hospital and Memorial Hospital. Have you seen that, Alejandro, the different hotlines that exist?
Yeah, there's the different hotlines that are existing through through the health department, as well as the hotline that, for example, the city of Salinas has put, which is separate, but is for small businesses that give a lot of this information. Oscar and Lisa, who are on the Zoom call today, both are part of that small business hotline.
Got it. Great to hear. Also, share the information with your employees, whether it's CDC information, City of Salinas, Monterey County Health Department information, for them to be aware of how to prevent COVID-19 from spreading. Also, which underlying health conditions may make individuals more susceptible to contracting the virus, whether the elderly or those that have prior existing medical condition. Self-screening at home is a great way to kind of stop the virus. So if you train your employees to let them know, hey, be aware of the symptoms, hey, consider screening yourself before even leaving your home or even before getting to the workplace, that could be the first measure of prevention. Also, the importance of not coming to work if the employee's sick. A lot of the times the employees feel pressured. I was like, oh, my company, my employer wants me to be there. I don't want to seem like I'm slacking, or if I'm like not actually a team member, but actually during these times, you staying home because you're sick or you feel sick is really doing something great for the company, because the last thing you need, if you have, say, I have a few employees or 10 employees, if obviously in addition to them wanting to be healthy, but if one employee comes in and he makes everybody else sick, guess what? There is no business to operate. Everybody's being quarantined, right? Or being sick. So encourage them to stay home. Also, hand washing with soap and water. A lot of people think, hey, I'm just gonna use the hand sanitizer, but the best choice is to wash your hands at any time you can. The importance of physical distancing in the office or in your retail space, and of course, proper face coverings are also key in the workplace as well. Initial control measures and screening. So provide temperature and or symptom screenings for all workers. Now, Alejandro, do you know, is that a requirement that exists now or will exist for any workplace to have these temperature and symptom screenings at their workplace? Do you know?
So let's kind of go back a little bit. So just for everybody that's on the call, I think what's important about the measures and what the worksite specific plan is, I think one of the things for opening up in this stage 2, what is really important is for all the workplaces, all the retail locations to understand that what the stage 2, or at least this early stage 2, means for businesses is that they're able to open up businesses that hadn't been opened up previous. So when we talk about clothing stores, when we talk about sporting goods stores, when we talk about these type of retailers at flower shops, what it means for this early stage 2 is that they're allowing for the curbside retail to be occurring at this point. And so that is what is being, this is what has happened since last week, both all throughout the state and here in Monterey County, is for this to have allowed to happen. And so this is what's moving forward right now. And so it's a slow process of moving forward. And in order for these businesses to be able to open, part of what needs to happen is all of these different measures. So really important to make sure that there is a written worksite specific plan. In that worksite specific plan, we're talking about the training. We're talking about making sure that there's a process for checking compliance, a process to investigate and find if there's any COVID cases within the area, but also your employees. And I think when you talk about the topics for employee training, there is an entire checklist for all of this that both CDPH and Cal OSHA has put together for the state of California, which the County of Monterey is following and is basically the guidelines that are being utilized right now, because there are no other guidelines.
Perfect. And then it's also like general, a good strategy just to be aware of those, even go above and beyond, where require all your employees, and as we'll see here in a bit, even people that come into your business, like the UPS or FedEx, to have a face covering in that as well.
Correct.
Perfect. Also, provide and ensure workers use all required protective equipment, protections for cashiers, baggers, and other workers that have a regular contact with customers and people coming in and out. So that's the key, right? If you have somebody like a receptionist at your insurance office, or in your bridal shop, or in your panaderia, and they're encountering people, protect them, right? Plexiglass or gloves and face masks. That's the key there.
Yes. So
Employees
part
should
of what is, yeah. So part of what is being recommended is to make sure that the employees are safe. So there are the guidelines, and we will have all those links up for folks to take a look at, to be able to take for themselves and be able to print them at home. The guidelines that are being put out by, like I said, CDPH and Cal OSHA, which is the whole process of making sure that you're disinfecting, you're cleaning, you're making sure that your employees are safe, that if you do have a break room, that there's only a certain amount of employees that are there. There's only a certain amount of folks. So part of the plan that needs to be put in place is that there needs to be a plan for your customers. There needs to be a plan for your employees. And all of this needs to be put together in writing and then implemented with signage. There needs to be, some type of, mechanism so that you could see the distancing, the social distancing within the store. If they are able to come into your store, for those that are the clothing stores, the bridal shops that we were mentioning, the retailers that have been allowed to now do curbside, pickup, those, are a little more complex because you need to figure out how do you do that, on a sidewalk, how is that done? Some stores are putting a table in front of their doorway and delivering the product there. So the stores are not being able to, customers are not coming into the store, but rather, picking up their items right outside of the doorway.
Great, great. Perform thorough cleaning. Just continue. Make sure you perform thorough cleaning in high traffic areas like break rooms and lunch areas, ingress and egress areas like stairways, escalators, handrails, and elevator controls. Like, for example, you have the handle, right? The door handle to enter your business. Just wipe it down. I mean, you got to wipe it down every 20 minutes, or every time essentially somebody comes in and out. But if you're a high frequent or a business that has a lot of traffic coming in and out, high frequency traffic, just try to do it as much as possible. And there's guidelines for this that we'll go ahead and share, but just little things that you could forget, like just a door handle entering your business is key in that regard. Frequently disinfect commonly used surfaces. So if you have shopping carts, baskets, conveyor belts, registers, scanners, handheld devices, counters, door handles, like I just mentioned, so ATM, pin pads. So every time somebody or multiple amounts of customers are touching the same thing, that needs to be disinfected, right? Because that's a place where the virus could spread. The equipment you're using, clean and sanitize, whether pallet jacks, ladders, supply carts, time clocks, payment portals, styluses between each use. Clean the surfaces between the shifts or between users. Work surfaces, tools, stationary and mobile equipment, and controls. Alejandro, so a lot of the SUBA members in Salinas, they would fall into this category, right? Because you have a lot of bridal shops, then there's like restaurants, and then there's different like panaderias and such.
So a lot of the bakeries and a lot of the restaurants are open, and they're all doing takeout. They're all doing delivery. There is no dine-in happening. However, with the new announcement that the governor gave today, that will change at some point once the County of Monterey's health officer makes a determination that he will allow for that to happen. And that has happened soon after the governor has announced or made a change in what the next step will be or the next stage will be. So that is coming soon, having had an announcement. So there needs to be a preparedness of the restaurants to be able to have dine-in capacity with a lot of these protocols that are going to be put in place. There's some initial protocols that have been put out already by the governor's office. So for those restaurants, but in particular for the retailers that we have right now, it's trying to be as proactive as possible by making certain that what you mentioned at the beginning is that you have a plan in place that's written, a person that's in charge of making certain that the plan is being followed, and that we are, as business owners, disinfecting all of those areas that are used quite often, and it's done often as far as the cleaning is concerned, and following the protocols, the social distancing protocols, the signage, all of that needs to happen in order to be in accordance with what is being put forth by both the state and the County of Monterey at this point.
Great, great. Some other ideas and options, no-touch systems like no-touch trash cans. There's no-touch hand soap or the paper towel dispenser that's motion censored in order for there to be less opportunity to be touching multiple surfaces. Bathrooms stay operational and stocked at all times. Right. Adjust or modify store hours to provide adequate time for regular, thorough cleaning and product stocking. Stagger stocking so that associates are in different aisles. So depending what kind of business you have, if there's a big space or not, stagger as much as you can. We just talked about earlier about staggering breaks also for the employees. Provide time for workers to implement cleaning practices before and after their shifts, or if not, make sure you hire a third-party cleaning service to go in there as frequent as possible to kind of clean things up. But I noticed, Alejandro, a lot of businesses are using their employees, or a lot of these people are like sole proprietors, right? So they're doing it themselves. It appears they're taking
Right.
the cleaning into themselves. That maybe they may not be able to afford a third party to come in and do that. Correct.
That is correct, and a lot of them are doing that and following, the guidelines. A lot of them have put up signs, their own signs, and that's a good thing to be doing. They're looking at different websites for the different industries. So, for example, if you look at, there is a retail industry association that has put out guidelines. There are the the restaurants of America that have put out guidelines specifically on how to clean surfaces for restaurants. For those
Nice.
that do have restaurants, there is specifically guidelines, for example, from Echo Labs that do cleaning for a lot of hospitals and hotels, but they also do it for restaurants. They have put out a whole set of guidelines, and what we'll be doing is putting out all that information. We'll put that out there in the next tomorrow and the following day. We're going to be putting those out on our SUBA Facebook and making certain that folks have access to those links so they could download them themselves, and they don't need to come to us to get that information, but they could do it themselves and take a look at all of those checklists and all of those guidelines and recommendations.
Great, great. To continue here, encourage debit or credit cards to be used by customers. That way you reduce the cash and the touch points. I encourage customers to clean their reusable bags frequently. I noticed, Alejandro, when I go to like Target or Safeway, they don't let me take in my own bag, right? Is that something that's going to continue, do you know?
For some time, I think it's going to continue, and I think that they've lifted a lot of the regulations at the state level as far as reusable bags, and so now it is available for you to get bags from the grocery stores and a lot of the stores, and so they are providing bags at most stores. It gets a little more difficult for some of the real small businesses, but they are providing bags. I was out in various parts of East Salinas today, going from business to business, talking to businesses to see where they're at, how they're doing, and giving them information about today's webinar and tomorrow's webinar. And so they're definitely moving forward. There's a lot of, the majority of businesses do have some kind of plastic covering in front of their cash registers. They have hand sanitizers. They have posted signs of social distancing. There's tape on the ground. There's stickers on the ground of 6 feet apart. So it is happening out there. And walking into one of the stores, before I walked in, the person sprayed my hands
Nice.
with disinfectant. So it is definitely happening out there.
No, that's great. I mean, like I always, it's so powerful when you could actually go visit these business owners and entrepreneurs and retailers at their business location, because you get a really good understanding of if they're implementing some of these guidelines or where more help is needed. So going into what you just said, physical distancing guidelines here, ensure physical distancing of at least 6 feet between workers and customers. Use physical partitions or floor markings, color tape, or signs to indicate where workers and or employees should stand. Take measures at checkout stations to minimize exposure between cashiers and customers. So again, minimize that interaction. Wear face coverings, employees and customers. I know a lot of stores don't allow people in even without a face mask. So that's being implemented. Install plexiglass barriers. That's been done as well in various locations. Display signage at entrances, checkout lanes, registers to remind customers of physical distancing at every opportunity that you can. If you're having a meeting with your employees, adjust the meetings or with your vendors and such to minimize having everyone in one little room, right?
Right. And so a lot of these guidelines, I think a lot of these guidelines are being followed, and I think that it's good information for a lot of businesses to make sure that they are doing it. It's just a good reminder for them to be doing this. Oscar or Lisa, if you have anything that you'd like to add at this point, I think it'd be great. We'll continue on with the physical distancing guidelines, but if there's anything that you would like to add at this point.
I don't think I have anything specific to add. I think just the clarification that at this point in time, retail is only open for pickup or
Correct.
delivery, and that there isn't to be any customer contact. That is to be phone in online orders in this initial phase 2, but that everything that has been put forward in the slides from the guidelines is really critical for businesses to still start thinking about those things now and coming up for their plan for when customers will also be part of the equation coming into their store.
Right. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Also, Alejandro, this is Oscar. One thing to add, and I know you guys mentioned that you guys will be providing links of web pages, but going into just the CDC webpage regarding COVID-19, there's symptoms of coronavirus, and there's posters or printouts, a PDF that the small businesses could actually print out and display, whether it's a break room or whether it's at their windows, so their clients could be aware of following protocols if they're feeling sick or to keep that distance, 6 feet distance.
Yes. And so we'll make sure we'll put those links out there, and then specifically to those PDFs. And also, I think, Oscar, I know that City of Salinas has a small business hotline. I think it'd be kind of good right now if you could just kind of mention what that does, or how folks can reach you.
Yeah, so regarding the hotline, Alejandro, yeah, the hotline it's there. It went live April 30th. The hotline number is 831-758-7367. That hotline, or we're here to provide resources, local organizations that are providing microloans to small businesses, and giving more information, as well as answer any general questions regarding the financial loans that the federal government has approved, the EIDL or the PPP. Just be able to answer general questions, since we're not federal employees.
Right.
But yeah, that's what the hotline was there for, to assist in providing local organizations that are providing those microloans.
Perfect.
Got it,
And then
got it.
just one last question. Yeah, go ahead.
No, a question for Oscar. The organizations providing microloans, is there any resources or any solutions for those business owners who don't have a social? Could they apply with an I-10 to any of those business loans or resources, do you know?
Yeah, so some of them do allow you to apply with an I-10. There's also the iBank that has resources for I-10 self-employed or small businesses that use an I-10 that don't have a social security. So yeah, there is, and they could definitely give me a call. The hotline 831-758-7367, or they could send me an email to oscar.r@ci.salinas.ca.us with any more questions.
Yeah, and just to clarify on the slide, really, Oscar and the hotline number is the direct link to resources. I am more of a secondary support. So it's better if you call the hotline directly versus my line. But feel free.
Sorry, Lisa, we copied it from the press release. Sorry.
And yeah, and that also created some confusion. So just want to kind of. Oscar's really dialed into all the resources that are available, and definitely the iBank program through the state and the loan program that's being set up in collaboration with El Paro CDC is specifically targeting those businesses that are operating under I-10s.
Great, I see it here.
Thank you, Lisa. So if you want to go ahead, Tony, we can keep going on the physical distancing if there's no other questions.
Oh, yeah. Let's see here. So just continue. And then any of the other attendees also, let us know if you have questions. At the end, we'll ask you if you have any questions. But continue. Physical distancing guidelines limit number of workers in enclosed areas and stagger employee breaks. That's key. Also, allow one employee in the break room at a time, depending on the size of your break room. use barriers or increase distance between tables, chairs to separate workers if you have an enclosed area where they are taking breaks. If you have a store that has like a bar with food bar or bulk bin option or public seating areas, reduce that or eliminate that. Also, discontinue any product sampling. I noticed at Costco they don't do that anymore, right? Since early March. Dedicate special shopping hours for the elderly. Consider doing that. And those that have any pre-existing health conditions, that'll be great for people to know that they could shop and it can be safe, preferably after you clean. But go ahead.
And just to be really clear, and these guidelines are the physical distancing guidelines, but as Lisa had said, the retailers at this point are for curbside only, for pickup only. These are the physical distancing guidelines that we have in the businesses that can open for business, such as grocery stores and other essential businesses. But specifically for the retailers that are, confused about how to open and what to do, these are the guidelines that you need to have in place once it is allowed to move forward in the next stage. But for now, it is making certain that all of the other steps that we talked about earlier of making certain that you have the way to pay, to do either online, to do it through phone call, all of those pieces need to be in place so that there is a limitation of how much contact face-to-face there is, and there's basically a pickup, and so there's a limitation on that.
Thank you. Very good point. Yes. So people don't assume they could open up. Again, no, curbside pickup only for those retailers. So be aware of that as well. And also, anybody that's listening now, right now, if you need help setting up like a way to take orders online, let us know. There's simple ways. There's like Shopify, and there's other like Grubhub and etc. We could help you kind of set that up, and you can automate your sales and turn this crisis into an opportunity, right? With some new website. Continuing increase pickup and delivery service options for customers to help minimize in-store contact. But again, we're doing curbside here. But embrace online phone ordering and curbside pickup is required. And if in the future, when you do, and you could open your doors, consider doing a different entrance and exit point. I know some stores it's impossible, but again, consider keeping everyone apart. For those that are able to open, like grocery stores, etc., limit the people in your store to less than half capacity. Few customers outside. I've noticed a lot of grocery stores are doing that. You have to line up outside. But the rest of us, make your store pickup only, delivery only to minimize employee-customer contact. Curbside pickup. And when you are delivering, etc., or people are picking up during the curbside service, minimize physical contact, increase physical distance by not talking with customers directly. Do it through a passenger window, assuming there's no other humans in the passenger side, but do it from a distance as you're communicating with them. A lot of people are doing it on the phone, and they say, hey, I'm outside. They don't even go and say hi to the person and physically. They actually just load the items into the customer's trunk or to the vehicle, and they leave, or they, if you're doing deliveries, leave it at the door. Again, curbside service, it's great, allowing you to sell your goods, but do not interact with them, even if they come to you as well. Expand store delivery windows. So if you're doing some deliveries, that way not all the vendors show up at once. Alejandro, could stores still get deliveries from outside vendors, or is that not allowed right now?
Yes, it is. It is. There are deliveries happening throughout the area as far as, businesses receiving deliveries from, restaurants or other essential businesses that are open, and those that are starting to open are also getting deliveries as well. So it's making certain that in your plan that you have, that you're requiring your truck drivers to come with masks and to have limited contact, and then trying to figure out how to social distance as well.
Perfect. Also ask or even require those delivery agents, whether truck drivers, vendors that come in your store, to have or even come to you, wear a mask, right? Not to minimize interactions. But yeah, that's basically like the majority of it here. We wanted to give everyone an overview of what's going on and keep everyone updated. Appreciate Alejandro. You always have all the breaking news, so I thought let's do one of these virtual meetups to kind of get it out to people. But I want to bring in a few business owners like Orlando. If you could hear me, Orlando, what are you doing to minimize any of the physical contact that's going on, or are you implementing anything new in your business around COVID-19?
That's a great question, Tony. Right now, I know that you know, a lot of different business owners look at us sometimes as pioneers for this technology, but even after us having the food truck, right now we're actually not handling any cash and we are not handling any debit cards. What you're able to do is we have an ordering system where we have created an app that is available on iTunes and Android.
Ooh.
You can go ahead and download the Tortas al Cien app. You can go ahead and find out a GPS location to where we will be at, and you can make your order and pay via the app. And this is also a button that is available on our website where our customers would basically go onto our website, click on that button. It'll tell you where we're going to be at, what the pickup times are. It'll allow you to see our online menu, pick, pay, and then we're able to have it ready so that when you come, the only thing that we're actually doing, oh, there you go right there. So
Nice,
online
man.
order to the right-hand side. And it makes it a lot easier and a lot safer and a lot faster for every single person involved. So on there, it'll take you to Chow Now. And the next place that we're going to be is going to be at a brewery, which is this Thursday. So it'll allow you to here you can check out what tortas we have, things like that. So that's what we're doing right now. That's what we have found is the safest for our customers to be able to still enjoy our food. At the same time, my staff is being safe, and so is our customers. So those are the things that we're doing.
Thank you, Orlando.
That's awesome, man. I love it. That's very innovative. I love everything you're doing. That's cool.
Is there any questions from any of the other folks that are on the line, or any comments that you might have of what you're doing that could help?
Yeah, I would like to hear that Ricardo or Silvia, Jerry would like to hear what you're doing in your business to kind of get over the whole pandemic and crisis and still thrive.
Yeah, this is Ricardo from Assemblymember Robert Rivas' office. I'm just tuning into the call to find out what small businesses are doing and just taking some notes, just to get a sense for what the small businesses are doing here.
Thank you, Ricardo.
Hey, Ricardo.
Cool. And Silvia, I don't know if you want to say a few words.
Is we've actually shortened our hours, so we're not open as long as we usually were before. So that gives us plenty of time to disinfect and also to clean up better. We are practicing social distancing, and we're just cleaning up, and I think, well, business has been good for us, but we do have the shorter hours so that we're not exposed, or we're not exposing, and we're just cleaning up. So that's about it.
Okay. Thank you, Sylvia.
Great. And then Jerry, could you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. So,
Awesome.
in our business, what we've done now that we've been reducing the hours, a lot of the things that we're doing right now are by phone and also by our website. So we're right now under maintenance, but we're currently updating a lot of the inventory. So a lot of the things that we currently have in our shelves, we're putting that all online, and through that we've been getting a lot more, labor work through the phone and also through our website. So that's kind of something that we're figuring out right now. But yeah, everything is going pretty well.
And Jerry, is there a contactless way of doing business with you guys, or is it still through that you guys are doing through cash and you're doing just regular business as well?
Yeah, so right now most of it we're still doing through debit cards and credit cards, but by next week we're gonna try to start doing everything. Just we don't want to be using any cards, so by next week we're hoping to just kind of use our website for all the transactions through PayPal and through yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Jerry.
Great, great. No, that so again, we're recording this, and then are we planning on weekly meetings? I think we're talking about, Alejandro, bi-weekly meetings to keep everyone updated. So.
Right. There's a lot of information that's coming out daily, and I know that Lisa and Oscar are on top of the information. Like I said earlier, there's information that on the press conference that came out from Governor Newsom informing the public and Californians that, you know, there's going to be a movement of opening up restaurants soon. And so that'll be the next step forward. And that would be dining for the restaurants, and that changes things for them, figuring out how to keep the social distancing, taking out tables in their restaurants. So there's different things that are happening quite often, and it causes a lot of confusion in the different businesses, especially for the small businesses, because the resources are a lot less for many of the small businesses. And we want to make sure that we're up to date with whatever information and guidelines are out there. So we're going to do our best to be putting these small webinars where we're just informing people of new guidelines, of new things that are happening.
Right, and the governor, the restaurant guidelines are now up on the state website.
Right.
So even though it hasn't been given the green light here in Monterey County, it is there and available for restaurants to start looking at, so they can be ready as soon as we do get that green light.
Yep. And so I know that we will be grabbing all that information just like we did with this, and making sure that we have that available to our restaurants as well, because we know that that will be coming soon.
Perfect. Well, yeah, thank everyone for joining us. Tomorrow we're doing this in Espanol and Spanish at the same time, 6 p.m. Pacific. Just try to get all the information out there and let us know if there's any other questions.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for participating, and we will continue to be doing this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thank you.
Tony.
Okay, bye.